So this whole thing is a vapor chamber. Is this whole plate?
Yeah, this whole plate is a vapor chamber.
That's
except this heat pipe. It's
right,
whole
right.
Vapor chamber. It's very large, so you
That
get a lot of
is
heat flux inside.
huge. All right, guys, so I am here at MSI. This is something we've been really excited to check out today. I've got Ivan here with us as well. So first of all, huge shout out to MSI for letting us come in. This is an appointment only, and they let us come in anyway, so thank you so much for this. Ivan, why don't you give us a little bit of a tour of what you guys have got going on here?
Yeah, so now we have the latest 18-inch series light up here. So here we have the most powerful laptop on earth, which is Titan 18 HX. And over there we have the flagship gaming laptop, which is Rider 18HX. And here we have the portable, the Steel's 18, the thinnest one, 18-inch on the market.
Thinnest 18-inch laptop. I have not seen an 18-inch laptop in such a long time. It's always 17-inch, but you know what MSI said? Forget it. We're going to go 18-inch, and we're going to do it the best. So love to see that. I also love the trackpad on that.
Yeah,
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the trackpad we use is from the idea of last gen's smart touchpad. So we have covered the glasses on that, so you don't really have physical travel.
Right.
So we have a motor underneath, so when you click it,
is it all haptic?
Yeah, haptic. You can actually feel the feedback when you press it, when you release it.
I'm gonna try that because I gotta feel that. I am whoa, that's so weird. Okay, so for clarification, right? Like he said, this doesn't move. And if you guys have used a trackpad, you know it either has individual buttons or the trackpad itself clicks physically. This doesn't move. And if you've used any other products lately, like a lot of haptics, vibrations have become pretty popular. This whole thing operates off of haptics. And then to me, I love haptics. So I think this is probably the coolest thing I've seen on a laptop in a very long time. And of course, it's RGB because you can't go wrong with RGB on a gaming laptop. It's gotta be there. Oh, I see the Cherry. So this is a Steel Series Cherry MX switch. Yeah. Wow, love that.
So as you can see, when the light vanishes, it's like just totally vanished.
That's so clean. I kind of like that almost. It's kind of incognito, right? Like you can just turn the touchpad off, and I feel like you kind of know naturally where the trackpad is. You don't really need to see where it's at because it is just that. Okay, so it is just that. So you still get a palm rest. I think a lot of people are immediately going to ask, is the whole thing a touchpad or is it just the center?
Middle.
It is just the middle, and I think that's good because you still want to be able to have a place to rest your palms and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about the display, the monitor.
Okay, the display monitor here, what we use is the first one in the market, the 4K 100 Hz mini LED display.
Mini LED?
Yeah.
How bright can it get?
1,000 nits.
1,000 nits. So graphics card, that's what I was gonna ask. You were talking a lot about driving this insane display. What kind of graphics options do we have for this?
No, we have up to RTX 4090s. And we can have the TGB up to 175 watts.
Whoa.
So when we are running the games, it uses both CPU and GPU, right?
Sure.
So now we can boost it up to 270 watts. So it's 175 for TGBs and 95 for the CPUs.
Wow. So you can really crank out some serious gaming on this thing. And
really.
Honestly, for an 18-inch gaming laptop, this doesn't look that big. Can you tell me a little bit about the cooling solution and how you guys have managed to fit all this insane power in relatively a small chassis?
Yeah, okay. For last year, mainly we use heat pipes.
Okay.
This year, because we want to push the limit further.
Sure.
Like 20 watts further, so that's why we choose the vapor chamber. Because this vapor chamber, you can think about it as a expanded version of the heat pipe.
So this whole thing is a vapor chamber. Is this whole plate?
Yeah, this whole plate is a vapor chamber.
That's
except this heat pipe.
Right.
Vapor chamber is very large, so you
that
get a lot of
is
heat flux inside.
huge. I've never seen a vapor chamber that big. Most of
right?
the times vapor chambers, by the way, for those of you who don't know, like usually pretty small. They put them in small electronics. It usually helps cooling a lot. That is the biggest vapor chamber I have ever seen. So that makes a lot of sense for a device like
normally
this.
Normally when you see vapor chamber, like you can see that in thin and light laptops because they want to solve the heating problem. But when you enlarge that and put it in the gaming laptop like this, you can have the best benefit out of it.
Cool. Well, is there anything else more specific about these that you want to touch on or show us?
So if I talk about the memory slots,
the
Titan 14 have 4 memory slots. Can go up to 192 gigabytes.
Really?
Yeah,
192.
Yeah, because now we have 48
Yeah.
gigabyte per DIMM, right? So it has 4 DIMMs. So altogether, 192.
Oh my
And
lord.
we have the 4-slot settings on the Raider 18 as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
in the previous gen was 2 slots.
Now
we
you have 4
upgraded
slots.
to
Literally
4 slots.
double the amount of memory.
Yeah. The main
That's
difference would be
insane.
the ID design and also the cooler, the overboost can
Yeah.
go up to 250 watts.
Okay. Wow.
compared to this one.
Amazing. And then I guess SSD options.
SD
We're
option,
talking.
We have 3 slots.
Oh wow.
3 slots. So
Okay.
one of them support PCIe Gen 5.
That's good.
So
We like
maximum
that.
you can get to about 60 terabytes
Oh,
altogether.
60 terabytes?
6 terabytes.
Oh, 6 terabytes. They said 60 terabytes.
6 terabytes,
Six,
sorry.
still 6 terabytes
Yeah.
for games today. You kind of need more than 2-3 terabytes for games
Yeah.
nowadays. I feel like so. That's awesome.
So this is basically just a portable desktop level powerhouse.
Absolutely. And so, when can we expect to see this go on sale?
It will be, I think, around February to
February. So Q1. So soon.
around Q1.
Okay.
Should be.
And then can we disclose pricing yet or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. No pricing details yet, but you know what? If you want the most badass gaming laptop on the planet, I think MSI has you covered. So the Titan 18HX is going to be the one you're looking for sometime in February. All right, guys. So we are here finally to check out the Claw, the gaming handheld that MSI has come out with. It is the first handheld on the market with Intel's new Ultra 7 chip in it. I'm going to let Ivan walk us through a little bit. Tell us about the Claw.
Okay, so first, as you said, this is the first one that uses the Core Ultra from Intel. So it's different from the competitor who uses AMD. So the benefit of using the Core Ultra is not just it has NPU for AI task, it also supports native Thunderbolt 4.
Oh, wow.
So that's why for the Type-C here, we have a Thunderbolt 4. I think we will support like displays, mouse, storage, or even maybe external GPUs that is possible, and all thanks to Thunderbolt 4. And otherwise than that, we also have the Hyperflow. So instead of the cooling down the CPU and GPUs, we also let the air goes through in the middles to cool down all the components in the middles, so the laptop doesn't get too hot, and also the SD card and also the screen, they're all warm after for a while.
I'm glad you brought up the SD card slot because I have a very bad track record with handhelds and SD card slots. For whatever reason, they don't seem to like to last very long on these handhelds. So hopefully the one in the MSI one is good, no issues there. So glad to hear you say that there's good cooling for the SD card slot.
Our engineer has noticed that, so this is our main focus to prevent.
Make sure the SD card your SD cards are safe with the Claw. So tell me a little bit about the display. What can we expect there?
So now we have Full HD, 120 Hz displays. So when you're playing games, it's very smooth.
I feel like we've touched on this a little bit about how handhelds anymore could be used as a laptop replacement or even a small desktop replacement, where with Thunderbolt 4, you can really plug in an external display or a dock.
Yeah.
You said you had a dock, right? Let's see. I want to see this dock too. So MSI does have a docking accessory there, which...
So now we have a stand that you can just literally put Claw here, and you can connect it to the Thunderbolt 4 on the top, and so we can have the USB, HDMI, and LAN port, and other 2 USB Type-C as well.
Yeah, so that's an accessory that I think is super helpful because obviously, so I could totally see myself putting this like on my desk and again, getting home, plopping this on the stand, plugging it into my monitor, pulling out my keyboard and mouse, and boom. Now you've got a pretty solid little desktop or a pretty small little gaming machine. And if, eGPU support does come in the future or we start to see that, you're on a gaming desktop and that you can toss in your bag. So that's pretty cool. Now, one thing I do want to see, because one thing I'm very particular on with handhelds is I would love to see the software experience.
Like we can call up the MSI Center M and alternate all the settings here, or we can have
Quick settings.
The quick settings here.
There we
So here we can adjust the brightness, like the performance, or even I can change it to gamepad mode to desktop mode. So
Okay.
what we do in desktop mode is basically you can control the cursor right here.
Thank goodness. That is one of my favorite ways to. Windows is very difficult to use, I find, on handhelds because of the small screen and not having a keyboard and mouse. So being able to move the cursor with a thumbstick is game changing.
Yeah, and AB for left click and right click
Oh,
for mouse.
awesome.
So basically you can do anything on
Right.
a laptop. That's why I can use it as a regular
As a regular laptop.
Yeah.
And then you've got speakers on the front here. I love to see that because we've learned in the past that putting the speakers anywhere else on a handheld just doesn't quite hit the same. So front-facing speakers, they look pretty good size too. And I imagine it gets pretty loud. Can we crank it up a little bit? And there you go. So at full volume, in this pretty loud room, I don't know if you can hear that. Rudy, you can hear that? Definitely now you can hear it. It gets pretty loud. Not that you would be playing at... I think Windows Narrator is on and she's talking to us. So can you tell us a little bit about when we could see this available for everyone to purchase?
I think around February.
So sounds like February is kind of like the sweet spot for MSI. If you're looking to get any of the new MSI stuff, definitely check sometime in February. And can we talk pricing today or no?
For that, the basic price will be $699 to $799. So the configuration will be mainly for Core Ultra 5. Okay. For the $799 will be Core Ultra 7.
Understood.
And the difference will be the SSD size.
Got it. Yeah. But everything else is screen resolution, everything else, you're getting the same package. You're really just upping your processor. And is it the same amount of memory for both models as well?
For now, the same amount of memory. Okay. Maybe we're expecting 32 gigabytes in the future. That's
crazy. 32 gigabytes in a handheld is pretty insane because I feel like 16 is kind of in the base, but now we're seeing 32 gigs. And again, I think the most exciting thing about this handheld for me is that it runs on Intel. I guess my final question before we wrap up with the Claw, how easy would you say it is to, if you're a tinkerer, right? Let's say you're a tinkerer, you like to build stuff. Is it relatively easy to get inside of if you wanted to upgrade the SSD? Is that something you can do on the Claw?
I think it's possible. You have to remove, because it's underneath the heatsink.
Sure.
So you have to remove that. But we'll suggest that to seek for our RMS center or service center for that.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, guys, that's the MSI Claw. Expect to see it sometime in February. And yeah, hopefully we'll get our hands on one and we're going to check it out in full details. So, sweet.